lighting and fires and everything else. We're not all the smartest individuals, and all of a sudden we know what to do with oil here. No. That substance has been on the face of the earth for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, and mankind has basically broken down a lot of the different properties of it way before the Rockefellers and the J. Paul Gettys ever once discovered any of the oil fields here in this nation. So, when Jesus ran into John the Baptist, John the Baptist, basically by being an insider, told Jesus the inner workings of how the system, the money changer system, worked in Israel or in the territory by the scribes and the Pharisees and the Sadducees and all the teachers and the religious leaders and now the doctors, all the elite people were operating, which were at that point in time under the protectorate of the Roman Empire. But they had their own system within the system. Sort of like what we have here in this country. We've got the American government, and then we've got the corporate United States government, a system within a system. And then below that, we have the banker system. And the banker system is fully supported by the United States corporate system, because the United States corporate system benefits from the money changer system. They're bought and paid for. The American government system is supposed to be operating on pure law, real law. But they have turned their head the other way, as they say, blind justice. So, when John the Baptist told Jesus about this, what took place? Well, what took place was that John had spilt the beans. Jesus was not under any obligation, like John was, to keep his mouth shut. John was into the brotherhood to keep his mouth shut. But since John had spilt the beans and it was found out by the brotherhood that John had spilt the beans, guess what? John lost his head. Now, Jesus, knowing what this was all about, knew that basically all the contracts that were out there had to be settled with real assets after a certain amount of time, or that they had been fully paid for after a certain amount of time by the people's wealth, because the wealth of a country really belongs to the people. The labor and everything that comes out of that has to be paid or compensated with real value. So as what Jesus was doing was wearing a cloak, because it calls it out in the very latter parts of his life, that his cloak was of such royal value that they could not cut it apart or cut it up. So what was this very special cloak? It was not just because it was made of such fine, interlaced, tied together fibers. It was because it had some very important significance to it. How was Jesus so readily seen to be coming into town? How did people know when he was there? He looked just about like everybody else. What made him stand out far and above the others? It was his cloak. And his cloak basically had red cross on the front and on the back. He was to be the crucifier of the contracts of the people. That's what the crucifixion of Jesus is all about. He was coming in and crucifying. He was placing a cross upon their contract, basically canceling, null and voiding all the fraud of the contract out. Once all the fraud has been taken out of a contract, you will find that in most cases, the contract has already been settled. You just didn't look beneath the sheets. Find out what's underneath. Read the fine print. Cross it out. You do not have to accept their contract. Because I will go into basically telling you how in this country you can operate with real money once you learn 3 little things. And they're called the ABC. What we were told to learn in our educational years. Learn the ABC. And it has nothing to do with the alphabet. The alphabet is about learning the letters. The ABCs is entirely different. So Jesus went around and basically he was getting people out of jail like he got Lazarus out of jail. Lazarus was dead to the commercial world. He was in prison. Jesus got him out of prison, brought him back to life in the world of reality. Lazarus didn't die dead. So people have to wake up and start reading what was really out there. Now, Jesus basically got as much as he could, got several of the people out of the system. And tried to get the Sadducees and the other people of Israel there to change their ways. Well, after Jesus left town, and basically 70 years later, or thereabouts, 30 years, whatever it was, after his time frame, 40, I don't know, it was in 70 A.D., supposedly, the Romans basically got fed up with the money changers and the shysters in this little bird called Israel, and what they were doing to the people and disrupting the harmony and bleeding the people dry and not trying to live in harmony, that they came into town and destroyed them. They did a massive blitz on them. The Hebrews were not able to get all their gold and silver out of town. It stayed there, but they had it hidden well beneath the temple in a place that basically was unsuspected of being where a treasure would be buried. So we sort of fast forward now about 1,000 years. Along comes the Crusades. Oh, the religious leaders want us to go back and save what history and everything else. They want us to go back and kill this other marauding tribe that basically is now the landowners of the land, that we got to go in and we got to kill them off so that we can take control of it. The good money changers and the landowners, they wanted that area back. So the people, we've got to follow what our leaders tell us to do. We'll go wholeheartedly. So they went screaming back down here. Well, there was a couple nights that basically knew some history about what had taken place there. So when they were able to go along for the expedition of restoring this, they said, we're going to do a little further investigation. And they started checking out some of the history that they had at their disposal about finding certain artifacts. Where was the treasury originally located at in there, in the old temple? So they dug and they found it. And lo and behold, they found the real story of what Jesus was all about. It was about canceling the contracts that were fraudulently being placed and deceived upon the people. They also found the robe of Jesus. And that's what they ended up wearing, was the robe of Jesus. A red cross on the front and a red cross on the back of their vestments. And Templar basically said that they were templing out the contract, crucifying them. That cross was not a T, but basically everybody interpreted it that way to be a T. But basically it was a cross. It should have been the Knights of the Cross. Instead of a Knights Templar. That was the term that basically the religious placed upon them. That they were a religious order. No, they were men basically that were operating to protect the people from the highwaymen and the thieves and the robbers, which were the money changers, the religious leaders, the banksters, you name it. Anybody that was out there to get their hands in the people's back pocket. Of course, they probably didn't have pockets back then. But their purses, their assets, away from the people. So, that's what the Knights Templars were all about. They found the treasury that the Israelites had lost after the Romans had destroyed Jerusalem. They found the history and all the supporting information about the trial of Jesus, what it was all about, the canceling of the contracts, and how that basically every contract has to be settled within a certain time frame. That all contracts basically on the front are classified as a wagering bet. The bankster or whoever is wagering that you are not going to come forward and settle the bill with real assets, because you're not going to know that you have real assets at your disposal. In most cases, they're hidden away from you in a secret compartment, but they belong to you. In this country, they're called commissaries. You have to lay claim to them. You're supposed to do it when you came of age. There's very few of us really ever came of age. Or knowledge, or understanding. We think we did. We think we know every damn thing under the sun, and we don't know shit. It's just that damn simple. What this country could have been, should have been, are two different things than what it is today. It is a cesspool created by the religious leaders, by the money changers, by everything that was condemned well over 2,000 years ago by the man called Jesus. Prior to that, by Daniel. Prior to that, by Moses. Prior to that, by Abraham. Prior to that, by a couple others. Roughly, there have been 23 recorded throughout history people that have tried to tell the people about the money changers. But the majority of the people still do not want to understand. They're just too tied up. They got their own damn ego problems to find out the real truth. You got to do what I tell you to do. You're an option against the family. You're just an outcast. Even though you think different, you're not right. We are. We're in the majority. We control. But yet, they aren't in control. It's a very, very small percentage that is really in real control. But yet the vast majority think that they're in control. And then they turn around and sit and bitch about what goes on. But they never take the time to find out the real truth. Because they're all worried about nickels and dimes. And pennies. Yes, pennies. I mean, the pennies that people worry about are so ridiculous. They will kill people over a penny in this system, while they're letting their true wealth escape their grasp that is sitting right in front of them. Eyes that see but do not see. Ears that hear but do not hear. That's what's going on. Our forefathers that set up this country basically set it up on the principle that under the guidelines of some of the requirements of no banks in this country. We were to be exchangers. But the people kept demanding the banks. We came over from Europe. We had a banking system over there. We had the religious control over there. We need to have that same control over here. We just can't handle this. We can't take the responsibility onto ourselves. We need to have someone else tell us what to do. Over and over again. We ain't capable of this. We want. Yeah. And you get what you shall reap. For lack of knowledge, my people want, I think was the old term. If they had the knowledge, they would not need the want. Because if they had the knowledge, they would be able to get what they wanted. So the want wouldn't be there. So that basically is how the story has led up to here. We let the money changers back in, just like they did in all the previous histories. We are at the crossroads of the destruction. That's what brought on several of the great revolts that took place, like the French Revolt, the storming of the Bastille. Basically, several people knew that the contracts had been settled, that the people needed to have their stuff back. Now, the people didn't fully understand. They just went headlong following these other people, and then they tried to set it up, but then they got taken back out again by the bankers slipping in the back door again. That's what they did into this country. Now, they set it up in this country that basically all contracts, all wagering contracts with the bankers, whether they be by a checking account, a credit card, a mortgage, any loan contract, has to be settled within 3 years. Either the asset has to be transferred over, or the labor that the people put into it had to have paid for that item in full. That's why there's only an M1, M2, and M3. There is no M4. Those M's basically stand for the money that, the wagering bet money that is in circulation. There is no wagering money in circulation after the 4th year or in the 4th year of the contract. The contract has been fulfilled. But the deception is that basically they have you on a 27 more years of a 30-year mortgage contract. It's all pure fraud. Check it out. The real asset has either come out of your FIDE commissary, which you were to be given at when you turned 18, because the wealth of the country of America, the land, the excess land, you are a shareholder. We the people are the owners of this country. But we're allowing them to take it away from us. We have to claim fraud and deception and get it all back. Maybe it's time for the Second American Revolution before it's really too late and they take all the gold and everything and basically go below ground and camp out for the great catastrophe that is getting ready to take place. But with that great catastrophe, they will be sealed up. That is what's been foretold. But the vast number of people that are still upon the surface are going to be destroyed. Not totally. Just the human body is going to be destroyed. The soul cannot be destroyed. But all the human bodies will go back into the flesh to rejuvenate the earth system. Only select certain ones that have the knowledge and understanding will be able to somewhat protect themselves to ride out the great catastrophe that is getting ready to take place. And hopefully bring the true knowledge back into operation and bring the people as they come back upon the land with the understanding, with the fortitude, with the drive to do and be responsible in the right way, to pass this stuff on and not have the egos and the arrogance of, look, see what I have. I am so great. I have this. I have a 20,000 room house. So what? It don't impress me one bit. Yeah, it looks nice, but what the hell? Couldn't get to all those rooms in one day's time. But what good are they to you? You didn't gain any knowledge or understanding from it. You just built more of a damn disharmonious, functional instrument upon the surface of the earth that brought disharmony to the earth. But you didn't see that. Oh. This was just a little rambling that I just had to blow off and get off my chest. I don't know if anybody will ever want to listen to this, but this is my take. You can make whatever you want. So, this is Patrick signing off right now. I'm ending on a 49. I love that number. Talk to you later.